Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Lookout. In this episode, we're going to be looking at two of the biggest stars from this year's products in Victor Wembanyama and Connor Bedard. We're going to be looking at Victor Wembanyama's Prism Base and Prism Silver. We're going to be looking at Connor Bedard's Young Guns rookie card. We're looking at the gem rate, because it's quite important when you're looking to invest. You want to make sure that you're buying raw and the value of grading it is that on. You want to see sort of the statistics of this. Is it worth it? So we're going to go into gem rate, which I recommend you guys use as well, and also Market Movers app, as always. The code's in the description there. There's codes around here somewhere for a 14-day free trial and 20% off for life. But no, it's very interesting to see the data and looking if it's worth buying these cards, how many cards it would take to get sort of X, Y, Z value out of them. So we'll go through all that. But let's get into the video. So we go straight onto gemrate.com. We go pull up the Victor Wembanyama Prism number 136. This is the base. You can see the total population area is 7,062. The gem rate for all graders is 62.7%. You can see there across PSA is 64.4%. So roughly tell you, if you're buying 10 cards and you send all 10 to PSA, roughly going to get about 6 of them coming back as a gem. Not horrendous, not the best. So it's always, again, if you sure you can eyeball a lot better than if you run on eBay, but it's good to know. We'll pull up now the Prism Silver, number 136, population of 1,451. That's a 69.8% across all graders. It's actually 70.9% at PSA. So again, you buy 10 Prism Silvers, roughly 7 of them should gem. So now it's looking to numbers and see if it's worth buying them and what the profit margin will be. So we pull up the Victor Wembanyama base on Market Movers app. As you can see over the year, obviously you don't have the full year's data, but the all data we have, it started off quite high, now it's dipped quite low. Last sale, which is, so yesterday I filmed this, was $54.65. This is raw obviously, so you can see the last couple of weeks, there's been quite a few sales, it's sort of been on that decline. So we know for picking up raw, roughly now it's in that 50, the average for 14 days is $61.66. So we know roughly where the gem rate's going to be, around about 60%. So then if we're looking at PSA 9s for instance now, as you can see there, the last sale was $67. So if our average for the last 14 days is 61, well, now we're saying it's 67 for last sale. The average for the last 14 days was 75. It's around about $15 if you're lucky. So the risk there is not the best. You're buying it around $60. You have to ship it, pay for grading, lose fees. So this doesn't look like it's worth it for a 9. You're probably gonna lose money. What's interesting is obviously looking at the PSA 10. As you can see there, it started off quite high, again dipped down as always. Average sale is $301 over the period we've got. Last sale was $187. So what we're looking at is pretty much 3x. So the average last 14 days is $214, so still quite a lot of money. And we know I buy 10, 6, and we're going to come back gem. So that's where we have to do the maths and work out if that's a good deal or not. And next up, we pull up the silver, again raw. We can see that from all data, the average is around about $738. It's currently at $532. It's obviously down quite a bit, which is expected at the moment with all these cards. As you can see, last 14 days, it's sort of simmering around that sort of $600, $500 area, in and out. Last 14 days, average is around $577. So that's the price we want to buy it raw. We obviously want 10 of them. We know around about 7 of them should come back at gem mint. But obviously we have to look at the 9s because not all of them are going to come back at 10. So let's look at the 9s. It's actually less, which is kind of crazy. And the last couple of sales, as you can see, average all the date we've got for it is $687. Currently, last sale at $464. As you can see, like even last 2 weeks, the 574 is sort of the average for the last 2 weeks. It has sort of been a bit of a spike, but then also dipped down quite a lot and stayed consistently low. That popular in 354, which is interesting. But yeah, obviously, if we look at the PSA 10, is obviously what we know that roughly 7 out of the 10 should come back at. We're hoping that the big investment that we're putting in, we can get that money back, and even with the money we might lose or where he might be out in the 9s, he sort of filters out. So if we look at the 10s, as you can see, started off high, had a few spikes of going high as well, but now on a bit of a low. Average of all days is $1,670. Last sale was just over $1,000. Consistently for the last 14 days, their average is around about $1,100, $1,170 to be exact. Again, still slightly down on that at the moment at $1,006. So yeah, well, 1,060, sorry. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we know that's a pop of 1,100. And then next up, we have back on gemrate.com, we're on the Connor Bedard Upper Deck Young Guns rookie card number 451. As the total population is 5,054. The gem rate is only 47.1. As you can see, I'm going to go with PSA, so the money's at currently at 45.1% at PSA. What's interesting is that BGS is currently 71%, which is interesting. But so now we know roughly where we're at here. With, you know, if you're buying 10 of these, you're going to be lucky if half of them come back a 10. You know, there is statistics, as you can see here, of what they're coming back as 9s, etc. But, you know, the focus on the 10, that's where the money's at. As we've seen with the market lately, 9s are coming similar price to raw, and it's kind of horrible to see, let's be honest. So, without further ado, let's start looking into the sales for the Connor Bedard Young Guns rookie card. So we're back on Market Movers. Here is the Connor Bedard Young Guns base rookie card number 451. As you can see, averages for the whole data we've got is $531. It's currently at the last sale at $347. That's currently down quite a bit. Obviously, we want to know at $347, we're going to have to buy 10 of these. I hope that half of them, because this is a little less than half, they'll come back a 10. So how much money are we going to be in? You know, you're in it. We could have potentially been in it for now. For, you know, what, $3,700 if the average of the last 14 days is $372. So we're talking $3,720 to buy 10 of these. You know, is it going to be worth it? So let's find out with the 9s. As you can see, the 9s last sale at $393. Average of all the data we've got for it is $478. Obviously, what's more interesting is obviously the way the market is. It's on a bit of a downward sort of slide at the moment, especially with him not being in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So if we look at the last 14 days, see where that takes us in more of a closer with a market, I suppose, timeline. The average there is $406. You know, so even if they all came back a 9, you're gonna, you know, roughly get $4,000 back. But then you have to take with the grading fees and then also any fees of selling. So you're probably gonna come out at a big loss there. So then we're looking at PSA 10s. Over the data, it's $1,410. It's currently down at $981, which is down 72%, which is kind of crazy. Again, it's a pop of $1,576. Obviously, we want to look into what the market's currently doing. So in the last 14 days. So if we just see here, it's been quite consistently. Averaging around $1,050. Obviously, again, the last sale was $981. So again, we know half of them are going to come back at this. It gives you a rough amount of, it's not going to be 9,000, you're going to be somewhere halfway there. The rest, you're hoping for a 9. Could be anywhere from, what, $8,000 for, you know, to be in it for near 4,000. So to summarise, with the Wembanyama base, there is, what, 7,763 graded. Over 7,000 of those are 9 or 10s. So your buy-in is going to be around about $546 after you buying 10 of them at 54. Obviously with the grading fees, let's just say $160 for 10. You're going to lose around about $153, 28 on eBay fees. That's another $50 in postage. So all in, around about $900. You're going to make back $1,393.48, selling at the current low price for that one. So again, just under $500 you made if you can go through the rigmarole. And again, if you get the 6 10s and 4 9s. With the Wembanyama silver, 1,400 graded with PSA, 1,300 of those are 9 or 10s. Obviously we know it's a higher rate of 70%. So roughly in for $5,320. Again, another 160 on there with grading PSA for the 10 cards. But then we're going to obviously lose about $969.32 in eBay fees selling them, and postage another 50, just random number that I've sort of plucked in, $5 a card, 10 cards. So all in there, you're going to be in for $6,499.32. And you'd return $8,812 at the current low of selling all the cards at the lowest price. So yeah, a couple of $1,000 there to be made, which is a nice play. The next one up, obviously, the Connor Bedard. Again, so it's 4,370 graded with PSA, 4,000 pretty much on the dot at 9 or 10s. We know it wasn't the best gem rate with this one at 40%, so you look at the 6 of them being 9s, 4 of them being 10s. You buying in around about $3,470, sorry. Again, another 160 in shipping. I think it's $15.99 at the moment on a current modern special. So 10 cards. Again, you're gonna lose another $50 in postage, and then you're gonna lose selling them at that low price again, around about $1,141.58 in fees. So all in, you're gonna be in at around about $4,821.58. But the outcome of that is $10,378, which is a nice return, just because of how high the Bedard 10s are going for at the moment, which really saves that one there. So again, $5,000 plus there on that one. Again, these are people that aren't really getting spoken about as much at the moment because they're not in the playoffs. That's where all the sort of attention is at. So let me know if this information is useful to you. Again, gem rate, I think I called it gem mint before, it's gemrate.com. Again, for sales data, it's always a Market Movers app. Make sure you use the code Mahomes for a 14-day free trial and then a 20% off for life. But no, I hope you found this useful. It's a very good formula to use. Looking at gem rate, looking at the sales, has all the data so you can look at certain times, the current 7 days, 14 days, sort of know where the market's at, right now. And you've got all the gem data and find out if these cards are going to gem. Again, as we saw with the Bedard at 42%, not the best, but because they tend to earn such a premium, it could be worth it buying 10 of them. Again, I know it's going to be difficult finding 10 at that exact price, and some maybe a little bit higher, but set your sort of markers and do some maths yourself and sort of work out if one goes a bit above, make sure to try and get one bit low and try and average it out. And the margins, especially on the Bedard, are there. With $5,000 to be made. Again, even with when we now have silvers, it's still $2,000 plus $2,400. So there's still quite a bit of margin there as well to sort of lose $10-20 on a card here or there. So it's just guidelines, but again, I hope you find it useful. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.